before we let Mustard's Retreat start, I just have to do a quick plug for some of our upcoming programs. This is just one of those by chance musicians week. We have another concert tomorrow, and just in case you thought you'd be the furthest to travel, being from Michigan, to come here to Walpole, tomorrow night we have Sarah McQuaid, who's from Northern Ireland, so she beats you up by an ocean. But so she's also at 7 o'clock, and she's also a singer-songwriter, so hopefully tell your friends if you can't make it.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
I think this is her first stop.
Oh, is it?
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
yeah. And the Red Sox are gonna win tonight, so you don't have to worry about a conflict tomorrow night. Later on in the month, we have an author, Stephen Puleo, who wrote a book, The Great Abolitionist, about Charles Sumner, who was an abolitionist, a local politician, and he's, not to give away anything else from his talk, but he's not the one they named the tunnel after. And then our last program for October is History of Play. Judith Calora, you may have seen her here before. She does amazing. Yeah, and so she's coming here on the 29th to do Rachel Revere. So people who've seen that program said it's great. So I think I'll just let Mustard's Retreat introduce themselves and also thank them for rearranging the stage here. This is what
Well, we're closer to everybody. That makes a lot. So, well, we've already been telling you about us. So maybe we'll start.
So
with
what
the song.
happened was, once David got hired, he was playing 5 nights a week, 4
That's right.
sets a night.
Wow. 4 hours a night, 5 days a week, 2 months, for $25 a night.
And he got better quick. He did. He was honing his skills right on stage. And I did the same thing with him too. My manager would come down from upstairs and she would relieve me. I'd be in my dirndl or my lederhosen. And I'd go on stage and sing harmonies down in the Rathskeller with him. So yes, it was very exciting times. And we started working like right away. And that was very interesting.
It was great.
Dave
Well,
did a lot of work.
So we're based out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, though I'm from Branford, Connecticut. I'll tell you about that later. Libby's from Flint, Michigan. And our first tour outside of Michigan, it was very exciting. Our second album came out in the mid-'80s, and we started getting a lot of national airplay. And we had a wonderful 3-day tour out in Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin kind of looks like this, as does the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. So our first date was in Kenosha, right down south of Milwaukee. Our third date was in La Crosse, right on the Mississippi River. And the middle date was in Rhineland, right up by the UP of Michigan. And I was just so thrilled. I called them up a week before. I said, we're coming, and what do we need to do? And the people in Rhineland said, oh, we made a terrible mistake. It's kind of like being booked on the night of the Red Sox game.
Still too.
Yeah, it was October, and they said, we booked you on the night of the town's annual potluck and dance. Nobody will be in the concert, not even the hosts. So I guess I seemed dutifully crushed, and they said, oh, come to the potluck and dance, and you can sing between the potluck and the dance. We'll pass the hat. I said, welcome to folk music. We're coming. But it just reinforced, growing up, in the 60s, Pete Seeger and Peter, Paul and Mary, and then the singer-songwriter revolution, and all the emphasis on consciousness and social justice. That's where we were found, and we mostly were playing bars back then, but wanted to get out of it, and that just reinforced that.
That you would be sitting here.
Yeah, you are. That's right. You are our community of choice. For 51 years now, this is where we have wanted to be. So thank you all for coming. And so this is the song that came out of Rhinelander that night. There's a dance tonight underneath the harvest moon, no honey, won't you come along with me? You're the folks who watch the kids, we can't dance the way we do. Back when you were shy, and I was 23. You were a lovely sight to see, dancing every dance with me. And that cotton dress you wear, that's the flowers in your hair. And there's magic in the night, with the moon shining so bright. Won't you come along with me? Long-time lovers, best of friends, through the changes and the years we have remained. And what was spark is now below, waiting lovely breath below, white kindle once again into the flame. Summer leans into the fall, full of stories to recall. Apple wine and organ wind, in the company of friends. And the music finally sweet, lift the heaps from off our feet, and remember times we'll never see again. And there's a dance tonight, underneath the harvest moon. Oh, honey, won't you come along with me? Your folks will watch the kids, we can't dance the way we did. Back when you were shy, and I was 23. You were a lovely sight to see, dancing every dance with me. And those cotton dress you wear, matching flowers in your hair. And there's a magic in the night, with the moon shining so bright. Oh, honey, won't you come along with me? So we're going to do a few Midwest songs here, and basically, and really a couple of Wisconsin ones. You know, the folk circuit is really big. We were talking earlier with folks who helped run the New Bedford Folk Festival years ago, and just about how many hundreds of folk events are going on. They're almost always below the radar. And we just played in 2 small towns in New York State where people turned out. They were just open-minded people who just got together to sing for fun, and really just very, very talented. It was great. It was great going around and seeing everybody. This is by a guy from Wisconsin named Pat Wiley. Very incredibly talented, but just never basically moved outside of Wisconsin. And it's great. And they live off the grid in northern, up by Rhinelander up there. And after dinner, they have a cabin in the woods, and they have a screened-in front porch, of course, only way to survive. and they have a Victrola out there. And, they go out and dance after dinner. And they wrote this song called The Barred Owl Waltz. The Barred Owl Waltz. Now, does anybody know what the barred owl says? The barred owl says, "Who cooks for you?" That's your part. We hope you're all going to sing tonight, because that's part of the deal. Coming in and singing, because we're all together and
Folks, singing.
Yeah, so.
That's what we do.
Out on the front porch, under the stars, far from the city lights, noise in the cars, with the crickets and the tree frogs and the whippoorwill calls, we dance to the bar down walls. Here's your part. Who works for you?
That's what the bar owl says.
Who works for you?
It's a pine wood serenade.
Who works for you?
The echo their call and next
To the bar down walls. My parents finally got to see us. My mom was a classical viola player, and I'm not quite sure she appreciated it, but my dad used to go around the house singing funny ditties, and he loved it when we did this. Well, we seldom see them, but we know when they're there, where their voices drift sweetly on the cool forest air, through an ocean of trees, to our front porch dance hall, where we sway to the bar down walls. Who works for you?
That's what the bar owl says.
Who works for you?
It's a pine wood serenade.
Who works for you?
We echo their call
as we dance to the bar down walls. Well, they ask the same question of us every night. Can it be they grow tired of eating raw mice? Maybe we should invite them to our next barbecue. They can dance to the bar down too. Who works for you?
That's what the bar owl said.
Who works for you? It's a tiny world serenade. Who works for you? We echo their call as we dance to the bar down walls. Who works for you? Who works for you all? That's the Southern Bar. There's a piece of trivia you may have been able to live without, but now.
And it's
you won't be
barred
able to live.
out. B-A-R-R-E-D.
Yeah, and that's that.
Shakespeare.
To be or not to be.
Yeah, not that one.
So another famous singer-songwriter out of the Midwest was Greg Brown, and he was out here a lot. I'm also an agent manager, and for people, and for years it included Greg for 20 years, and that was before he went. I don't know how many people. He was musical director for Prairie Home Companion for quite a while, and so this is a song he wrote. When I was growing up, we lived in my aunt's house. We couldn't afford our own house for a while. And down in the basement, which I loved to play in, there was a big, long, white cabinet, like 3 sections, and the final section, glass doors, it was full of jars of canned tomatoes. And nobody ever touched them while I was there. Except every once in a while, one would explode. And then, right here. And so I think they've been done up for World War II. But boy, I was just fascinated. I've had a garden ever since I could, and I've been canning for a while. So this is a song by Greg called Canned Goods. And it's got a wonderful chorus on it. It goes, got peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Supper's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer. My grandma put it all in jars. There's a big summer fruit cellar down below. Duck your head now, down you go. Peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Supper's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer, you. Taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer. My grandma put it all in jars. She's got magic in her fingers, you know what I mean? She puts the sun and moon in with the green beans. Peaches on the shelf, potatoes in the bin. Summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste a little of the summer. Taste a little of the summer. Taste summer, my grandma put it all in jars. When I go see my grandma, I gain a lot of weight. With her dear hand, she gives me plate after plate. She cans the pickles, sweet and dill, cans of the songs of the whippoorwill, and the morning dew and the evening moon. And I've really got to go see her pretty soon, 'cause these canned food you buy at the store, they ain't got the summer in them anymore. You bet grandma sure she born up, take some more potatoes in the thunderstorm. Taste on the shelf, taste in the day, summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste the little of the summer, you can taste the little of the summer. Taste the little of the summer, my grandma put it all in jars. So let those December winds go and blow. I'm as warm as a July I've got beaches on shell, taste in the day. Summer's ready, everybody come on in now. Taste the little of the summer, taste the little of the summer. Taste the little of the summer, my grandma put it all in So Susan, this is her first night volunteering for the Friends of the Library. Thanks.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. So we came in and we were talking about the Aurora, and she said she was just in Mackinac Island. Now, this is the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. I mean, Libby lives down here. I live here in Ann Arbor. Detroit's here. Mackinac Island is right here off the top, and there's a 5-mile bridge over to the UP, and so the UP is like the spiritual heart of Michigan. I don't know, has anybody been up there? It's
Natural
really,
beauty is outstanding.
yeah, it's kind of like the 70s back there still.
You gotta want to
Good
be
and bad,
there.
but it's like, but it's really community oriented and lots of great music and but there's a language barrier that we like to warn people about.
It's a dialect.
Yeah, so this is a public service announcement to and we gave you that first earworm, Who Cooks for You? Here's the second one, and sung by Peter and Lou Berryman from Wisconsin. Hope you don't mind when an old man sings. Oh, well, this is a sing-along too. You'll know where you're supposed to sing. Hope you don't mind when an old man sings, helps me to keep my mind on things. When I go where the animals thrive, I sing this song on the treacherous drive.
Dem
deer, deer, here. Dem deer, 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 here, deer, 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 everywhere. That's your part. Dem deer, deer, here. Dem deer, deer, here, deer, deer, everywhere. At dawn in fields and coniferous groves, bucks and does come alive in droves. Just when you think that the coast is clear, there in the road is the white-tailed deer. Dem deer, deer, here. Dem deer, deer, here, deer, deer, everywhere. Dem deer, deer, here. Dem deer, 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 everywhere. In venison land, as the day goes by, deer lay low while the sun is high. Sun goes down, night draws near, twilight brings out the white-tailed deer. Dem deer, deer, here. Dem deer, 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 here, deer, 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 everywhere. Dem deer, deer, here. Dem deer, 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 everywhere. Bucks bed down where the tall grass grows. Fawns day does where the does here, does there, and those are the habits of the white-tailed deer. Dem deer, deer, here, dem deer, deer, here, deer, deer, everywhere. Dem deer, deer, here, dem deer, deer, here, deer, deer, everywhere. Oh, so we're gonna sing you a real folk song. Some of you may know the antecedent, which we used to play a lot at the New Bedford Folk Festival, and this is there was a song called the Sailorman's Alphabet that you may have heard if you're familiar at all with, traditional music, and it tells a story alphabetically of a sailor's life and things that go on.
Perfect for a library.
Yep, and it was, but it was adapted somewhere along the line, and now it's the lumberman's alphabet. We got, I think it was collected in Michigan in the mid-1850s or something. Let's see. A for the axe, you very well know. B for the bullies who use it just so. C for the chopping that makes the woods ring. D for the danger we always are in. When the Michigan pines come tumbling down. When the Michigan pines come down. E for the echo that through the woods rang. F for the foreman, the head of our gang. G for the grindstone, so often we turn. H for the handle, so smoothly now worn. When the Michigan pines come tumbling down. When the Michigan pines come down. I for the iron that marketh the pine. J for the jolly boys never behind. K for the keen edge our broad axes keep. L for the lice that keeps us from sleep. When the Michigan pines come tumbling down. When the Michigan pines come down. M for the moss we stuff in our camps. N for the needle we use in our pants. O for the owl that hoots all the night. P for the pine that falls just right. When the Michigan pines come tumbling down. When the Michigan pines come down. Q for the quarreling on which we thrive. R for the river we love so to drive. S for the sleigh so stout and strong. T for the team that hauls them along. When the Michigan pines come tumbling down. When the Michigan pines come down. U for the underwear, flannel and red. V for the valley where we lie our dead. W the woods we leave each year. X stands for nothing a logger would hear. When the Michigan pines come tumbling down. When the Michigan pines come down. Y for the yell when the timber comes down. Z for the zeal of the dances in town. When the ring of the lumberjack's piano is o'er, it's back to the forest we'll venture once more. When the Michigan pines come tumbling down. When the Michigan pines come down. So it's amazing to think that we worked in those lumber camps, felling trees over in the winter. That was the only time you could drag them to the river. So we would work in that cold all winter, and they liked entertainment. so we have a friend, an antique dealer, who was telling us this story, and he had talked to this one old timer when he was young, who used to fiddle at the lumber camps, and this guy, and he had a black compatriot, and none of these were all Norwegian lumbermen up, and they'd never seen a black person before. And so they would come to the lumber camps, and the guy would play the fiddle, and this black fellow, big barrels, he would stand and jump and go into a barrel.
And they would take bets.
And jump out again. It was amazing physical.
That was their shtick. Because they would bet on whether or not the guy could do that.
And then the lumbermen would all try it. Just a fascinating.
Yes. Smaller trivia.
You
Trivial
got it.
trivia.
So
redundancy department now.
So another festival that's going is the Mystic Seaport Sea Music Festival. It happens at the beginning of June every year. And so I grew up in Connecticut, about 40 minutes from Mystic. I used to go there, and one time in the 90s they called me up from Michigan. They said we would like you to come play for our Sea Music Festival. And I was like thrilled, and I said, we but we don't do so many sea shanties anymore. They said, no, 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 we don't care about that. You're from Michigan, you're exotic. Which I took personally. And they said, we want you to sing songs about the lakes and rivers and streams and puddles and rain and that condescending New England way that we all know. So, but it was, but you know, so I got a little ruffled feathers there, and I've always wanted to write this song because in the 1690s, Captain Kidd hung out in my town. There's a chain of islands off the town called the Thimble Islands. I don't know how many people have been down there. They're beautiful, beautiful houses out there, a wonderful cruise you can take, and of course there were always rumors of treasure being hidden. So we always look all up and down the Sound, you know, and people still come and look for it. But our third partner, former partner, and I sat down one night and I pulled out maps and charts and I said, we're going to write this song about Captain Kidd. And he said, well, who are we going to tell about who's going to be the protagonist here? And we thought, what do pirates always leave with a buried treasure to guard it? It's got a body. It's got to be buried with bones. So that's and you know, and this particular body was a cousin of mine, and he served with Captain Kidd.
3 chords in the truth.
Yeah, we never let the truth stand in the way. But supposedly the treasure was never found, and so he's still guarding the treasure, but he's in his hometown, so he's fucking enjoys that. So, oh, my name is George Lindsley. I lived here long ago. My father was a lobsterman out of Lanfear's Cove. From Brentford up to Sacham's Head, for oysters and for clams, till the British frigate Cross. I was a pressed man. It was 1694. A kingship came around and boarded father's fishing boat out on Long Island Sound. The boatswain said, here's a fine lad. We'll take him on board. Now you're in the service of the king and the articles of war. Heave away, Jones, steady as she goes. Heave away, boys, and let her go. Well, I was young and reckless, and I wanted liberty. And service on the kingship is one step from slavery. We captured a French smuggler out on the open sea. The captain named the prize crew off, and that included me. And we were taken off Montauk Point as the wind began to lag by a swift and well-armed sloop of war that hoisted the black flag. The pirates gave us all a choice to sink or join their crew. I never gave half a thought about what I would do. Heave away, Johnny, steady as she goes. Heave away, boys, and let her go. Heave away, Johnny, steady as she goes. Heave away, boys, and let her go. Well, we sailed halfway around the world, which was just fine with me. We were 100 men of brothers in a crude democracy. The pirates lived for freedom, both ashore and afloat, and we each got an equal share, and every man a vote. I'm not going to tell you of all the things we did, but our real and rhyme last duty was a sail with Captain Kidd. We buried his gold treasure, but we bones it had to lie. So we all cast lots, and in the end, it was me who had to die. Heave away, Jones, steady as she goes. Heave away, boys, let her go. For 300 years now, this has been my fate. Roam these thimble islands and keep watch on this place. If the treasure's found, my freedom's gained on a wild spree. I'll be bound, but my heart always bring me home to these islands on the Sound. Every decade now, I toss some silver out into the tide. In the summer, people come and search, and sometimes they will find. It amuses me to watch them work. It preserves mystery, and I like their jokes and laughter, and enjoy the company. Keep away, Johnny, steady as she goes. Keep away, boys, and let her go. Keep away, Johnny, steady as she goes. Keep away, boys, and let her go. I've got a new one that Libby doesn't have a part for, but I tried it out last night. I think it's almost done. But,
This will be the second time.
and,
But these are the places to do these particular historic songs. This is a historic song.
yeah, so
Because
Benedict Darnley grew up north of New London, Connecticut, about 40 miles from where I was born, and he had his business in New Haven, like 10 minutes from where I lived. And, I've always been interested in colonial history and the war, so I began reading about it, and it was fascinating. It's fascinating, and you know, you probably all know, you know, he was the one who decided to go up to Ticonderoga and get the cannons and have them fall back and drove the British out of Boston. So he saved the revolution 3 times at least, and but he was a complicated man, but he wasn't good at politics, and the Congress, I would say they're about the same as we have now. And so he was, and he was a very proud man. His family was like the first family of Norwich, Connecticut, until the setbacks for his dad, who came to town drunk, and he was always, he was always wanting to get this pride and trying to build that back, and he just couldn't deal with backbiting. There's a line in this song that I don't know if I'll put it in, but he wasn't good at politics, but the backroom game of politics where self-interest changed the rules. It just drove him crazy. And when the Continental Congress would pay his troops, he spent his fortune to pay his own men, because he just couldn't stand it. So it's an interesting character. This is a song I'm working on. I think it's almost done. Come to hear my story. There's an empty chair for you. I won't tell you what to believe, but I'll tell you what was true. I served with General Arnold, and it all comes down to this: the tales they tell are mostly lies. I knew the man, not the myth. Yes, we saved the revolution, defending Lake Champlain. And out along Mohawk, once again we did the same. Sometimes reckless, sometimes daring, the finest general of his day. But he wasn't good at politics, and for that he had to pay. It was a time when your word mattered. It was the measure of a man. He was proud, but always had our backs. When injustice dealt the hand, find your truth, find your voice. Trust your heart when it's time to make that choice. Win or lose, make that stand. It's all that you can ask of any man. I was there at Saratoga. Arnold took that dreadful chance. General Gates, he sat and did it. While Hessian lines advanced, Arnold charged without permission. We rallied where he led. We flanked Burgoyne's position and routed them instead. Once a man denied his honor, life is seldom black and white. I won't condone, nor will I condemn the path he took that night. But when you speak truth to power, it seldom matters if you are right. Yes, he won some battles, but in the end he lost the fight. Find your truth, find your voice. Trust your heart when it's time to make that choice. Win or lose, make that stand. It's all that you can ask of any man. He betrayed West Point and Washington, but I believe he meant the best. He took a chance to win the war. I think you know the rest. But when the victors write their histories, truth can be the casualty. The remains of which are gathered up and preserved by you and me. Now I find myself in London, come to pay my last respects, reflecting on your legacy and all that you fought to protect. Standing by your grave, I tell you, should you have any last regrets? Through these dark times, hope is whispering. It isn't over yet. Find your truth, find your voice. Trust your heart when it's time to make that choice. Win or lose, make that stand. All that you can ask of any man. Oh, okay.
Speaking of Wisconsin.
So, we were playing in Luck, Wisconsin, a little over a year ago, and we got through with our show, and these people came up and said, we have a Wisconsin verse for this song. And we said, oh, let's hear it. So, if I had time,
I'd linger in the morning, I'd linger in the evening, all over this land. I'd look out butter, I'd look out cream, I'd look out cottage cheese, all the back squeeze, all along
over my
head. Oh, with me, oh, with me, oh.
You love it when you find things like that. Here's our version. I had a bell.
I heard it morning, I heard it in the evening, over this land. I bring out danger, I bring out warning, I bring out loving, brothers and sisters, all alone.
home. I sing in the morning, I sing in the evening, o'er this land. I sing out danger, I sing out warning, I sing out the love between my brothers and my sisters. I've got a hammer, I got a hammer, I've got a bill, I got a pen, I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about the love between my brothers and my sisters. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about love between brothers and sisters. All over this land, all over this land, all over this land. All right, so we're in a library, so it seems appropriate to do this poem. So this was written by a young New York newspaper guy in about 1916. His name was Guy Wetmore Carroll. And I think he was the originator of the fractured fairy tale, because he liked to take fairy tales and just give them a twist. So this is called The Embarrassing Episode of Little Miss Muffet. Now, Little Miss Muffet discovered a tuffet, which hadn't occurred to the rest of us. And as 'twas a June day, and just about noonday, she wanted to eat like the best of us. Her diet was whey, and I hasten to say it is wholesome, and people grow fat. The spot being lonely, the lady not only discovered the tuffet, but sat on it. A rivulet gabbled beside her and babbled, as rivulets always are thought to do, and dragonflies sported around and cavorted, as poets say dragonflies ought to do. When glancing aside for a moment, she spied a horrible sight that brought fear to her. A hideous spider was sitting beside her, and most unavoidably near to her. Albeit unsightly, the creature politely said, "Madam, I earnestly vow to you, I'm penitent that I did not bring my hat. I should otherwise certainly bow to you." Though eager to please, he was so ill at ease that he lost all his sense of propriety, and grew so inept that he clumsily stepped in her plate, which is barred in society. This curious error completed her terror. She shuddered, and growing much paler, not only left Tuffet, but dealt him a buffet, which doubled him up in a sailor's knot. Now it should be explained that at this he was pained. He cried, "I have vexed you, no doubt, your fists like a truncheon. You're still in my luncheon." Was all that she answered, "Get out!" The moral is this: be it madam or miss, to whom you have something to say. It is only absurd if you get in the curd, but it's rude if you get in the way.
All these people are smart. You can tell.
So my dad's family is Lithuanian. I don't know if anybody has any Lithuanian living here, but they came over as my grandparents as children about 1910, and the family lost track of them in 1937, before the war, and we got the opportunity in 2011 to go tour there. And all I had, we didn't know if anybody was still alive. All we had was my grandmother's, Russian passport and a partial letter, like page 2 and 3 of a letter that was in Old Lithuanian. Nobody knew what it said. And then a U.S. postal money order for $15. So there's a museum and center in Chicago called the Balzika Center. And it's a museum and cultural center and genealogy place. And I took all that to them, and the woman there looked at it and said, well, this letter is from your great-grandfather to your grandfather. And it says, greetings from your sister and her kids, and named them. And that was all about all the information there. Your sister, your brothers, and your children. But the postal money order had this word on it. I didn't know it. And they said, well, this is the word of a village that still exists in Lithuania, Zervino. And she handed me a paper, and she said, these are a dozen people who have your last name who live in that area.
Wow.
It was really pretty extraordinary. And so, I wrote a letter, she translated it, sent it over. About 2 weeks later, I got something back saying, hi, I'm your cousin, I'm a family doctor in Vilnius, the capital of the country, and that's my mother listed in that letter. So, so we were over there for a week. I could just go on and on with that story. But it was great. We had a great family reunion in this little village of Zervino. It's like a historical village. My family figures they've been there 300 years and can't remember when that. They just got electricity. There was no indoor plumbing yet. It was amazing. So when we had this song, one of our songs called Gathering the Family. It's a celebration of family. We had it translated the chorus, and we learned the chorus so that we could stand up at this big family reunion at one point and sing. So we'll do the last chorus in Lithuanian. Gather the family, here we belong, and a welcome good stranger come in. Our voices together all sing one song, and it's here that the future begins. Our ancestors came from away, far away, from 1,000 traditions and kin. What we all share together as we stand here today, with a chance to start over again. Gather the family, here we belong, and a welcome good stranger come in. Our voices together all singing one song, and it's here that the future begins. Our measure of worth's not in power or gold. The greatest truth comes from the heart, and it's time to take care of the weak and the old. This is the place we can start. Gather the family, here we belong, and a welcome good stranger come in. Our voices together all singing one song, and it's here that the future begins. And so like a forest our roots hold the past, while our branches reach into the sky. Let our gift to our children be family that lasts, and a future to which they can fly. Gather the family, here we belong, and a welcome good stranger come in. Our voices together all singing one song, and it's here that the future begins. Susi Borkian Ishema, Chamo Suvieta, Sainting Vispre Evangelii. Lituana Dominus Viena, Atetus Placidace. Is the oldest Indo-European 70 words in common. And yeah, and it's very, has a lot of symbolism. So it's very hard to translate. But, all singing, our voices together, all singing one song. They translated it as,
Bread.
like bread. We are sharing a meal. It's like, yeah. It was just like, that breaking bread is such a sacred thing, and that's how they translated
Singing
it.
is,
Yeah, like bread. Or we're sharing a loaf of bread. And,
Abby,
Oh, okay. Oh, so, all right. I'll tell you another story. We were flying over to Lithuania. We had to change planes in Helsinki, Finland. And Helsinki, Norway, Finland, Sweden, I don't know the order. But
figure legs.
we're down at the Baltic, on the Baltic Sea. And so we got in about 6 in the morning, and there was an English radio station, English language radio station on. And what morning DJs are like. First thing we hear, "Hey, this is Sven. Welcome to Radio Helsinki from the Baltic to the Arctic." And we were like, "Where are we?" and he said, "Yeah, we hear. It's really cold today. We hear up north it's 50 degrees below zero. But we're going to find out if that's true." So he said, "I'm going to call somebody up." So he had a phone book. He picked somebody, called up, got an old woman, and said, "Hey, it's Sven." And she said, "Hello, Sven." And he said, "Are you listening to the show today?" She said, "No, I'm not." And he said, "Well, we hear that it's really cold up where you are. Can you tell us how cold it is?" And so she said, "Well, let me go look at the thermometer." So off she went. She came back, a few seconds later. She said, "Sven, it is 15 degrees below zero." And Sven, of course, couldn't believe it. He was like, "Wait a second. We hear it's 50 degrees below zero." And she just laughed. She said, "Oh, you mean outside." They didn't get that in Virginia. They were like, what? So I don't know. Do Jeremy do whisper?
Oh, you can do whisper, that'll be fun.
So
Carry on with that.
yeah. So yeah, we had this big family reunion, and my great aunt was about this big, and her sister was about this big, and Danute, the one who was that big, was there, and in the course of the conversation, we found out that when Danute was 6 days old, after the Second World War, the Russians came in and threw her and her family on cattle cars, along with 100,000 other Lithuanians and a lot of other Eastern Europeans, and shipped them out to Siberia. They were on that cattle car for a month and a half before they got dumped into Siberia. Amazingly, 6 days old, I just can't even comprehend that. But fortunately, they outlived Stalin, and they got to come back. And
7 years.
7 years.
They carried the papers with them for the land in Lithuania.
Yes, the amazing thing, the dad kept the paper for their farm, the papers. So when they got back, 7 years in Siberia, they kept the papers. When they got back, they were able to petition the government, and eventually, after years, they got their farm back, which was just amazing.
Okay.
But as I talked to other people, like every Lithuanian family has stories like that, whether they're over there or here, and I was stunned. Not a tangent. We went out to the graveyard. They really keep their graveyards up clean, and they put candles out. And I saw one with a young boy's name on it, with the last name. I said, "Well, who is that?" She said, "Well, that's your cousin during the Second World War. He was playing on the railroad tracks. He and his friend found a German hand grenade, and they brought it home. It exploded in the kitchen. It was like, But there was, every family had these stories about being separated from their family, from their loved ones, from their country, but the resilience they showed. What kept a lot of them alive was love of family, love of their tradition, love of their language, their culture, of people they were separated from. And so I wanted to write a song about it, and I couldn't find a way into the song until a year after I got back, and I heard an NPR piece where this research group was going out to Siberia to investigate this phenomenon where when it's 50 degrees below zero or colder, the words literally freeze as they leave your mouth and turn into ice crystals because the water vapor, and they fall to the floor. And if you're very quiet, you can hear the little chips of ice chiming against each other. And they call that the whisper of the stars, which was evocative enough to get me into this song. The loneliness and cold here are profound. Words stumble from your lips, freeze, tumble to the ground. They chime like bells, immediate yet far. It's known here as the whisper of the stars. Lost in evening quiet, it's the only time I'm free. And I remember thoughts I treasured, how things used to be. I don't think about tomorrow, I just think on where you are. Hear the song that my heart sings in the whisper of the stars. In the railway yards of Vilnius that spring day, torn from your embrace and shipped away. But love itself is still its own reward. And I remember in the whisper of the stars. Bright and cold this morning, I look forward to day's end, when I will find those moments to be living once again. Your eyes told me all my heart needed to know, and I hold that image close in the candle's glow. I speak your name aloud across the night, and in the whisper of the stars, it's nearly night. Time and soul and spirit will unwind in the vastness here among the lakes and pine. But in the whisper of the stars, I find it's true. There's no distance between me and you. I can't think about tomorrow, I just think on where you are. Hear the song that my heart sings in the whisper of the stars. And hear that song my heart sings in the whisper of the stars. Run out of time.
How can that be? Oh, we got more time. Keep going.
All right.
Branching out.
So,
Don't Jeremy do it, just keep going. Just like that. Do Jeremy. They gotta hear Jeremy. They gotta hear
So, yeah, so again, my cousin's 6 days old. Children have a tough time, I think, a lot because they have no experiences to fall back on. It's like everything's new. They're learning things as they go. So this is a song of hope, a song hopefully that children will all find a little space of grace somewhere when things are hard. And again, I've lately been dedicating this to all the children in Ukraine, tens of thousands that have been absorbed into Russia, and nobody knows where they are. It's just like it's a horrible, horrible thing. So. In the heart of the winter, you're on turn 10. Father took sick and died. Little scratch your fork. 6 kids in the meantime. Mama fought pretty hard to get by. Spring was turned into summer. When a man came traveling through. Sitting work till the harvest was all stored away, and then meals and room. It was at Walpole Banks, so my mom signed on. His name was Jerry Brown. On the front porch we gathered when dinner was done, and the evening was settling down. And he'd tell us his stories of travel, single friends and places he'd been. And he'd think in our points on those long summer nights, taught me to smile once again. He'd say, there's a time and a place for goodbyes. It's a sad and a sweet thing to cry. Yes, to cry, how I cry. But the answers don't come by and by. He worked hardest to them, was quick with a grin. No resistance remained in his eyes. And he never did say why he took to the road. We knew well enough not to cry. But he understood how I was feeling, or at least to me that's how it seemed. And late at night, as I lay in my bed, his songs they run through my dreams, singing. There's a time and a place for goodbyes. It's a sad and a sweet thing to cry. Yes, to cry, how I cry. But the answers they'll come by and by. October it came, the last corn was in. Jeremy packed up to go. Heading down south was about all he could say. If he'd be back, he just didn't know. But I think that I knew as he held me, that somehow I could smile through the tears. That if I needed a friend, I would find him again in the song that I've sung all these years. I sing. There's a time and a place for goodbyes. There's a time and a place for the night. It's a sad and a sweet thing to cry. It's to cry how I cry. And the answers that come by and by.
How much fun has it been 50 years of singing that song? It never gets old. This is the amazing power of a song. What it can do for us, with us, together, when we're alone. Music is just the most great common denominator of everybody. We know that everybody has some pain. We don't know everybody's pain, but we have to assume that they know pain. And music gets us out of that for just a second, you know. It's wonderful.
So we just played in Ithaca a couple of days ago. There's a radio show called Bound for Glory. It started in 1967 by a man named Phil Shapiro. And it shut down for, it was a live performance show with DJ and local information. And he ran that until COVID. And he's still around, and they just started up. We were the first live show that they, we played like 18 times. We were the first live show of the season, it's great. But one night we were playing, and I told this story about how this song was from the first movie that my mother ever took myself and my younger sister to, The Sound of Music. Played it, we sang it, and
Live radio show.
and so and then
Big story.
They go in the next, telling the next story, and the phone rings over at the sound booth, and Phil says, "David, it's your sister, and there's nothing wrong," but he said, "But she says that you're wrong about that. This was not the first movie we went to. We used to go to a lot of it." So,
She stole the show.
and I think she's right. And we just found out, earlier this year, that so The Sound of Music, it was on Broadway, and I think Theo Bickel was playing the captain. And they realized right before the movie that Theo Bickel, the big folk singer, they had no song for him. So I think it was Oscar Hammerstein was basically, he was dying, and they went to him and they said, "Can you write one more song?" And this is the song he wrote. So yeah, we hope we have a couple of songs here we hope you'll sing.
I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts escaping home, where my music's playing home, where my love lies waiting silently for me. I never sing my songs again, I'll play the game and pretend. All my words drift back to me, shades of mediocrity, like emptiness and harmony. I need someone to comfort me. Homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts escaping home, where my music's playing home, where my love laughs waiting silently for me. Silently for me.
So,
Better take it down there. Just fade it, don't you want to fade it?
I do. So we're gonna do another poem here, and a song. This is so there's a Lithuanian take on reincarnation, and there's an American cowboy take on reincarnation. We'll do the American cowboy first. This was written by a rancher out in Montana, a cattle rancher named Wallace McCrae. He has a book out called The Cowboy Curmudgeon. And it's full of things like this. Like, now what is reincarnation? A cowpoke asked his friend. His pal replied, that happens when your life is at an end. They comb your hair and wash your neck and clean your fingernails and put you in a padded box away from life's travails. Now that box and you goes in a hole they've dug into the ground. Reincarnation starts when you're planted beneath the mound. Then clods melt down just like that box and you are inside. And then you're just beginning on your transformation ride. In a while, the grass will grow upon your rendered mound, till one day on your molded grave a lonely flower is found. And say a horse should wander by and graze upon that flower that once was you, but now has become your vegetative bower. Well, that posy that the horse does eat up with its other feed becomes bone and fat and muscle, essential to the steed. But some is left that it can't use, and so it passes through and finally lays upon the ground with this thing that once was you. And say, by chance, I wanders by and I see this upon the ground. And I wonder and I ponder at this thing that I've found. And I think on reincarnation, on life and death and such, and come away conclude, Slim, you ain't changed all that much. So, you know.
This is Lithuanian night in Walpole here.
So got back from that Lithuanian tour, and one of the Lithuanians we were on tour with, I found a song on YouTube. I just loved it. I couldn't understand any of it. And I called him up. I said, you know, can you translate this? And he was like, oh no, you know, I mean, he's a poet. He said, there are all these internal rhymes and references, and it's too complicated. So for 10 years, I was lamenting. And then I played it for a friend of ours in Ann Arbor, who's also Lithuanian, and he said, oh, I like that song, let's translate it together. So he can speak Lithuanian, I could speak, I knew a little, enough to be dangerous. And so there were a couple of online translations that were really strange. And then he was doing it, and he started going line by line. He goes, wait a second, this is a Buddhist, either a Buddhist cone or something. You know, this is about the life of Buddha and reincarnation and people trying to reincarnate, and we realized that the guy who wrote it was a Buddhist. So that, you know, so Jonas would directly translate it. Then I said, well, what is he trying to say? And then we tried to fit English words into what he was trying to say and make a song out of it. It was complicated, but it was wonderful. So this is it. It's called Between Black and White Clouds, and which I think is the point of meditation, or life to be in the middle between those things. And I'll explain one line in here, because when Buddha was born, the story goes that the existing gods threw spears at him and shot arrows at him to try to kill him. They didn't want another god, and those arrows and spears just turned into flowers and flew away. And there's a line in here that says that. And it's not a sing-along, it's an ah-along. You know, see dawn is breaking, everything's changing now. No more questions, love is around us all. In the silence your hand caresses my eyes. Should we dance through the autumn, if only to say goodbye? We'll learn to live when our eyes clear, and the end we can see. Your face shines with the beauty and wisdom of three. Water echoes the songs of an unseen rain. Between black and white clouds, we're in the middle again.
Three times.
You woke up a long time ago, and the blossoms flew away. I'll run with you, there's no time to ask you to stay. 1,000 lifetimes and more, and over and then we try to wake up and find we're sleeping again. Everything passes, how quickly the moment is gone. There's no time to understand the person I've found. Water gives voice to the songs of an unseen wind. Between black and white clouds, we're in the middle again. Don't say goodbye if you really don't know what it is. This moment is over, the future will know only this. Your hand like the rain, kisses and caresses my eyes. Why should we dance through the autumn, then say goodbye? And don't think if nothing is happening, everything's done. Late in the morning, rising beneath the new sun. Bird songs fill the air, we fly that sound. Hear the blue sky and white, black and white clouds. Bird songs fill the air, we fly that sound. Hear the blue sky and white, black and white
Glover, Facebook.
Facebook, Mustard Retreat. So in 2004, after the presidential election, I wasn't feeling too good about it. And I was thinking, boy, politics has gotten so ugly, how's it going to get any worse? But you know, because we think of you as family. That most of you we've never met before, but that's just fine. You can come for Thanksgiving anytime. But we find that there are lots of people making a lot of money on radio and TV and publications and online that are they have nothing good to say. They're trying to, we find people are basically good, and I wanted a song that was beyond politics, beyond religion, and to shoot for that common ground. So it's called Ours is a Simple Faith. You may have heard it. A lot of Unitarian churches and other people are using it. But the chorus goes, ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. No room in this heart for fear. No judgment day drawing near. Trust that in your voice you hear every day. Life's not a war race. It's about heart and faith and living a life of grace every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the one we tell. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Trust is an open hand, making an honest stand, rooting here in the land every day, living the mystery, seeking the harmony here between you and me every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. Hurry. So,
We've all done, I hope you all have done a high school reunion. How many have done a high school reunion? All the numbers are good here.
I went to the 10th reunion, and all the people I wanted to see weren't there, and all the people I didn't want to see were there. And it was the same.
Oh.
I had to do my 60th last year. I'm never doing another one. I didn't get to see anybody.
Well,
you know, so, you know, I graduated in 1970, you know, and after that 10th, I mean, I was living in Michigan, we were busy touring, and I never got to another one. Then it was going to be the 50th in 2020, and it was COVID, and then they went to 21, and then in 22 they had it, and I couldn't go, and somebody sent me a picture of like 75 people under this pavilion, and I looked at it, and I said, well, who are these people? So, you know, it's like, you know, but this is a song by John Gorka about a high school reunion. No, I didn't drink. I didn't sleep a week. Last night, I went back in time. It was a party, a reunion kind. The boys were all in ties. Some were in disguise. The hairlines and the frames of men were not as I remember them. It didn't matter much that we never kept in touch. Talk of work filled the in-between, back to the time when we were 17. Here's the faded blue and gold, and here's to you, my friends. We're all right now, we're all right then, we'll be all right again. There was a book of names and pictures of the same, and I saw familiar ones, all among the names that are forever gone. And time had not undone the girls I had crushes on, though all of them are married now. Found my heart was working anyhow. I laughed and reminisced with the girls I never kissed. The school years were not all misspent, and the good times were no accident. Here's the girls who danced with me, who never did back then. You made my night, you held me tight, you stayed until the end. Here's the faded blue and gold, and here's to you, my friends. We're all right now, we're all right then, we'll be all right again. We're all right now, we're all right then, we'll be all right again.
thank you, Walpole.
Yeah, so hope to see you all again. Find us online, and we try to get back this way whenever we can.
Thank you.
That is nice, Walpole.